Hi, this is Garvey Campbell, and you are watching Carnival 24. Coming up. The Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association says Caribbean tourism will emerge stronger after the coronavirus. Jamaica joins the United Nations World Travel Organization's global effort to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on tourism. UWI Carnival in Jamaica has been cancelled. The Tobago Jazz Festival and St. Martin's Carnival have been postponed due to COVID-19. Rum Producers in the Caribbean assist in the fight against the global pandemic. And in Trinidad, the carnival celebrations at Piccadilly Greens has had another successful year. Keep watching. We hope you enjoy this week's show. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and if you'd like to see next week's stories today, then make sure you subscribe to the Carnival 24 YouTube page, where we release these videos every other week, and click on the little bell icon to make sure you don't miss any of our shows in future. And also, if you haven't seen it yet, be sure to check out our Carnival 24 Caribbean report with information on how the Caribbean is dealing with the coronavirus. And now, on with the show. The Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association says that Caribbean tourism will bounce back stronger than ever after the current pandemic. The Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association has urged its stakeholders to take advantage of the resources it's set up to contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus in the region, and reminded the world of the Caribbean tourism sector's proven ability to bounce back from adversity. Recalling the association's experience in dealing with emergencies, CHTA CEO and Director General Frank Comito and Patricia Afonso Das, President of CHTA, reported that immediately upon understanding the potential threat of COVID-19 in January, the association reached out to the Caribbean Public Health Agency to begin to put in place monitoring, education and awareness initiatives. The association also advanced and implemented measures to ensure the safety of its employees. In a joint statement, Comito and Afonso Das pointed to online resources available to help the industry manage the crisis. Many of these, along with updates on travel advisories, airline and hotel cancellations and other notices, can be found at the CHTA COVID-19 Resource Centre at www.caribbeanhotelandtourism.com/COVID-19. They reminded that the Caribbean tourism sector has considerable experience in managing disruptions and risks by saying, "We've demonstrated this through SARS, Zika, hurricanes and other natural disasters over the past 2 decades, all while experiencing unprecedented growth." The organisation's leaders admitted, however, that nothing compares to what the region and the world are experiencing with the coronavirus threat. And while much of what happens is beyond individual control, through sound collective actions by companies, organisations, communities and governments, the duration and intensity of the pandemic can be managed. They asserted that difficult decisions which are made today will help us to recover sooner and ultimately be stronger. Despite the severity of the pandemic, Comito and Afonso Das predicted the region will emerge stronger and use lessons learned to make the region even more desirable. He closed by saying, "To the millions of individuals with fond memories of time spent in the region, the tourism leaders noted the region will be ready to welcome them back soon." And he went on to say a trip to the Caribbean with over 30 incredible and diverse destinations is one of the best remedies for wiping away the stress and anxiety, refreshing, renewing and warming your heart and soul in the process of your life experiencing everything that we have to offer. Jamaica recently discussed joining the United Nations World Tourism Organization's global effort to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on tourism. Senior officials at Jamaica's Ministry of Tourism in Jamaica participated in a virtual meeting with the UNWTO to discuss the partnership, which include UNWTO governments around the world, global private sector organisations and other international organisations. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett pledged his support for this initiative, which will mitigate the impact of the pandemic that's made tourism particularly vulnerable. During the discussions, Minister Bartlett noted that for the Caribbeans and other countries in the Americas, the stakes are much higher than for most other regions. The Caribbean is the most tourism-dependent region in the world. 1 in every 4 Caribbean national is employed in the tourism sector, while tourism supports 16 of 18 economies in the region. He added that, despite the initial positive outlook for global and regional tourism in 2020, we can now reasonably anticipate negative repercussions from the unexpected fallout associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. These repercussions will likely extend into 2021. The minister also provided the international body with an update on the response taken by the government of Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. He shared that key issues so far include effective management of public health systems in the territories and maintenance of the tourism product quality during this period to ensure a strong recovery, and human capital and welfare concerns for employees. The meeting also included senior executives from the World Travel and Tourism Council, the World Health Organization, chairs of the UNWTO regional commissions in Africa, South Asia, Europe and Middle East, the International Civil Aviation Organization, European Commissions, International Maritime Organization, Cruise Lines International Association, the International Air Transport Association, as well as the Airports Council International, otherwise known as the ACI. Minister Bartlett went on to say the crisis at hand also reaffirmed the important role of the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Centre. The centre represents the primary institutional framework in the region for assessing, forecasting, mitigating and managing risks to the tourism sector. Edmund Bartlett closed by saying we're actively engaging all stakeholders and partners, including travel agencies, cruise lines, hoteliers, booking agencies, marketing agencies and airlines, and we will be announcing all of our new measures shortly. The confirmation of a second imported case of COVID-19 in Jamaica has begun to have an effect on the staging of two major events on the island. The University of the West Indies, situated in Mona in Jamaica, has announced a postponement of its annual carnival, which was set to take place on the campus this weekend. While the popular party promoters Frenchmen have stated that all of their events for this carnival season have been cancelled. In a statement, the university noted that after careful deliberation, the decision has been taken to postpone UWI Carnival 2020 as a safety measure in light of the COVID-19 hitting Jamaican shores. The UWI community deems this as necessary as we put the interest of our stakeholders at the forefront. New dates for the events are being discussed with our stakeholders and rescheduled dates will be communicated as soon as possible. UWI Carnival events were set to kick off with a launch party opposite the Campus Student Union. Other scheduled events included Juve on Friday, Ring Road, and an aftermath on the campus on Saturday and beach fair at Sugarman Beach in Portmore on Sunday. The situation is similar for the party promoter Frenchmen, who also indicated that the safety of their stakeholders was paramount. In their statement they said, "It is after lengthy consideration that we will be cancelling all events associated with the soca season this year in light of the confirmation of the coronavirus in Jamaica. This includes all Limes, Easter weekend and Carnival week parties." The Frenchmen continue to put the interest of patrons, sponsors, service providers and the public at the forefront. For those patrons who have purchased tickets, please note that full refunds will be facilitated immediately. The carnival events organised by Frenchmen include Rise Up, Sundazed, Bazodi and Blocko. The three major carnival bands in Jamaica, Bacchanal Jamaica, Jamaica International and Exodus, announced on Tuesday that they will adhere to whatever guidelines are issued by the Ministry of Health, while the organisers of Reggae Sunfest shared a raft of measures they'll be putting into place for this year's staging of the festival from July the 12th to July the 18th. The organisers of the BRT Weekend Party series have also rescheduled their events, which were originally set for this weekend in Ocho Rios. The new dates are July the 31st to August the 2nd, and the organisers advised that all tickets purchased will be honoured for the new dates. With many islands having to respond quickly to the COVID-19 outbreak, two events in Tobago and St Maarten have joined the list of those events that will not be taking place this year. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday, the Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary revealed that the Tobago Jazz Festival has been cancelled, making the following statement. While the Tobago Festivals Commission is deeply saddened by the cancellation of this year's jazz experience, confirmed on Thursday, March the 12th by Tobago House of Assembly Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles, you must take notice of the severity of the global situation where the COVID-19 virus is concerned, but also agree that it's in the best interest of all to cancel the event and focus on preserving the well-being of our citizens. Across the water, the St Maarten Carnival has also been postponed. Alston Lorenz, president of the St Maarten Carnival Development Association, said the event was postponed due to coronavirus fears. The following announcement was made on the St Maarten Carnival Facebook page, stating the foundation was informed in a meeting called by government on Thursday, March the 12th, and agrees that public safety comes first. In the near future, we'll issue a series of notices to the public and all carnival stakeholders in the coming days. Please monitor the media for updates. The pandemic has had an effect on many upcoming events, including Jamaica Carnival, Bahamas Carnival, St Thomas Carnival in the USVI, Point Fortin Borough Day and Jazz Artists on the Greens in Trinidad, the Beach Road Trip Weekend or BRT Festival in Jamaica and Turks and Caicos, the Barbados Reggae Festival, the Vuja Day Music Festival, the St Lucian Jazz Festival, Afro Nation in Puerto Rico and St Patrick's Day in Montserrat. We advise anyone attending events internationally at the moment to make sure they check to see if their event is still happening. Rum producers in the Caribbean are assisting with the fight against COVID-19. Caribbean rum producers have taken on a special role in many countries as the supplier of alcohol for sanitation purposes. Vaughan Renwick, CEO of the West Indies Rum and Spirits Producers Association, made a statement by saying, "Our member producers are reaching out to health ministries and other government agencies to support their alcohol requirements for sanitation and related needs as the region battles the coronavirus, otherwise known as COVID-19. We're diverting production to alcohol as necessary and are doing what we can in this time of crisis." In addition, Caribbean rum producers are gearing up to address the unprecedented and severe health and economic challenges posed by the spread of COVID-19 internationally, as well as in their domestic markets. As a major employer and an important economic sector heavily dependent on the hospitality industry, the rum industry is particularly concerned about the recent spread of the virus in Caribbean countries and its impact on the health of citizens and the regional economy. Speaking on behalf of the regional grouping, the WIR-SPA chairman, Kamal Samaru, expressed his considerable concern at developments by saying, "Our first and primary concern is of course the health and safety of our staff and their families. As a result, we're providing all the support we can to help them understand how to protect themselves and their communities in this time, and in many cases providing them with materials to help them do so." According to Samaru, as major suppliers of spirits and other products in the hotel and restaurant sector, we're naturally aware of the extreme pressures that have been placed on these enterprises, and will begin working with these trade customers to assist them as far as possible in this difficult time. As an industry which is heavily dependent on export markets, we're also beginning to see the impact of economic contraction, and over the next weeks we'll be assessing how we manage what could eventually be an existential threat to our businesses. In a further statement, they closed by saying, "As many people are aware, many of our distilleries are important visitor attractions. Where local advice allows and staff safety can be guaranteed, these will remain open. Although with smaller visitor groups, in other cases we may face temporary closure of our visitor facility, and persons wishing to visit should always check ahead." In Trinidad, the Uptown Carnival Improvement Committee said they've had another successful carnival season this year. In its carnival brief, the committee says that Piccadilly Greens, the birthplace of Trinidad's carnival, hosted a number of classic carnival events throughout the season, including the Russo Revue and Icons Tent, the Dragon Festival, and the Carnevale reenactment, which was attended by the Minister of Community Development, Culture and the Arts. The committee said the Carnevale event was attended by thousands of spectators this year. The brief issued by UCIC Secretary Agnes Singh also said 112 bands crossed the stage on Carnival Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, for which the committee was grateful. Among the winning presentations across the Piccadilly Greens judging point were the Lost Tribe, K2K Alliance and Partners, HWMC and Associates, and the Junior Parade of the Band's small winner, Joe Mass Association, with Crochet Festival of Colours. Other notable bands to pass through the Piccadilly Greens were Kinetic Mass with their second place presentation, Mass Pieta, in the large band category, Desperados with their winning presentation, More Soca, in the bomb category, and Coco Lily Productions, second place presentation in the Northern Range in the Junior Parade of the Bands. This year, the committee worked in conjunction with several agencies to accommodate all the festivities, including the National Carnival Commission, the TT Carnival Bands Association, and Tobago Unified Calypsonians Organisation. During the production of this video, we've also just had news come in from Barbados. In a press conference with the Tourism and International Minister, Kerry Simmons, who's provided updates regarding the response to the coronavirus and its effect on the hospitality sector in Barbados.
On Thursday, the 19th of this month, Barbados would have informed all of our international travel trade partners of our policy decision that we would be instituting a mandatory period of 14 days of quarantine for all visitors who arrived in Barbados and whose passage began either in the United States of America, in the United Kingdom, or on continental Europe. Almost immediately as that information was put into the international marketplace, three things began to happen. First of all, there was a dramatic escalation in the level of cancellations which were being recorded both in the airline industry and across the accommodation sector. When I say the accommodation sector, I mean the traditional hotels, the shared accommodation such as Airbnb, Flipkey, HomeAway, etc., and of course the villa market.
Kerry Simmons also commented on the effect it's had on flight capacity to Barbados.
Consequent upon that dramatic decline in, or dramatic escalation in cancellations of bookings, we saw an equally dramatic decline in the loads which airlines servicing us commercially were carrying. And quite frankly, some of the figures which were being recorded began to show that it would be commercially unviable to sustain a number of routes.
During the press conference, he was also able to clarify how Virgin Atlantic and British Airways and Barbados are working together to help repatriate people in Barbados and the UK.
The UK market, as you know, is serviced by Virgin Atlantic on a commercial basis and also by British Airways. Virgin Atlantic has taken a position that they will suspend their services to Barbados with effect from Monday the 23rd of March, which is tomorrow. The issue of repatriation of UK nationals and other people who traveled here on Virgin is ongoing, and repatriation flights began as recently as yesterday. There will be a 747 servicing the country today and again tomorrow with regard to repatriation. To the extent that that does not complete the full process of repatriation, discussions have been taking place with British Airways, which has entered into a cooperative arrangement with Barbados and with Virgin, so that any persons who did not make it out on Virgin's flights should be able to do so on British Airways, which in turn will continue to fly to Barbados until at least the 26th of March, as is currently anticipated. I cannot be more definitive at this stage as to when British Airways will suspend, because I am going to have a meeting with their head of network planning tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock our time. The reality is that the situation with British Airways is very fluid. They are planning at present to bring a complete cessation to their global network, which is 280 planes and approximately 45,000 employees.
The full video, which is an hour and 4 minutes long, is available now on the YouTube channel PMO Barbados, and we'll include the link in the description box. So, those are our stories for this week, and this week's tune of the week is Go Down Low by Kadija from Trinidad. Kadija began her professional career at the age of 13, singing at events, and eventually started spreading her name in the local music industry, passing through several brands as a frontline singer and working with some of the biggest names in the industry. Now, she's also been a champion of the Live Music District, which is actually a place for artists to showcase their talent since that event started. And recently, Kadija has signed with the US label and management company, Para Music Group. We love this tune and we know you all too. This is Garvey Campbell, and you have been watching Carnival 24. We'll see you next time.
Hey guys, it's me, Kadija, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much, Carnival, for making me one of your choices for your 24 video picks. I am honored, I am grateful, I am thankful, and I really do appreciate this so much for the love and the support that you guys are showing me on my video and my song for 2020 entitled Go Down Low. Guys, go like them, go love them up, show respect, show support, love in the house, always. Thank you.
You're ready to win, boy. I hope you're ready to grind, boy. You're ready to, I hope you're ready to grind, boy. You're ready to,